Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here with us today. I want to share my background with you, what I do currently, then I'll share about some cool tools that I have for special education students as well as career technical education teachers whom I serve. My background is I first started teaching the elementary grades, and then when the recession hit, I knew I was going to get laid off. I was tired of getting laid off, so I went back to school for special education. I taught special ed since 2010 at the high school level. I taught RSP students. During that time, I got my Google Level 1 certification, so I have some tech skills, which has really come in handy during this distance learning period. And then last October, I had the very awesome privilege of applying and getting hired as an instructional coach for career technical education, serving special education students in my district. It's a grant funded position, so it's a 1-year position that I took, and then it just got approved for a 2nd year, so that's really cool because the purpose of my current position is to improve access, support, and advancement for students who are in special education who are trying to be successful in career technical education, trying to give them some better opportunities. So, so before, in my new position, before the COVID-19 pandemic, what I worked on was training special ed teams on career technical education and how to promote CTE to their caseload and support them through pathway completion. But now that we're in the new world of COVID-19, my responsibilities have shifted. And so I decided, I was just thinking of the high school site that I worked at, and we had a support center or learning center, whatever you want to call it. And students with disabilities would come there to take their tests, to get extra help, to use the computer, print, meet with their case managers, just whatever they needed. It was a safe space for them, and I realized that our students no longer have that. They have their house, so how can they reach out for help and get the help that they need? Because case managers are busy doing IEPs and they're busy teaching classes. So I really wanted to create a space for them to go and get help. Plus, I also wanted something to do every day, so I created this virtual learning lab that my students can access when they need help in career technical education, because in CTE, it's a very hands-on curriculum. So, how is an automotive student supposed to learn in a distance learning environment? So it poses some really unique challenges. So my hope is that by setting up the virtual learning lab that I've trained the CTE teachers on, as well as training them on some accessibility tools that that they would be able to access the general curriculum a little bit better and hopefully not fail the CTE classes, because CTE is designed so that you take the first class is the introductory class, then the middle class is the concentrator class, and then the third and final class, sometimes they have 4 classes, but usually it's 3. That is the capstone class, and then that leads to some of those programs can lead to industry certifications. It's really a cool thing, and I hope we won't cover CTE today, but I hope that if you want to learn more about CTE, it's really a wonderful vocational opportunity for our students to continue on, to go directly to a career or to continue on with their career technical education in college. And it just really gives them a leg up. I can't say enough about CTE, so that's my plug for CTE. But the purpose of our meeting today is for me to show you this learning lab that I created, as well as some accessibility tools, and I'll also cover working with paraeducators, because I get that question a lot too from the CTE teachers. They don't know what to do with CTE with paraeducators, sorry. So that's what I'm going to cover today. And before I start, I just want to let you know that for those of you joining in, that at the end of my presentation, I will share the slide deck with you. I just have 2 slides to share, but it has a lot of information on it, and I will post that or Karen will post it in the chat box so that you can grab that link, and all the resources will be right there with you. So before I delve into the first slide, does anybody have any questions, or Karen, do you have any comment?
You know, I am curious to know who's general. We have 24 people in here. So who in here is a general education teacher? If you're a gen ed teacher, can you just type in 1 in the chat? Oh, I saw a few more out there. Okay, how about if you're a special ed teacher or a service provider? Press 2. So we have mostly special ed educators in here. Okay, I think that's helpful.
Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right. There are, I think I'm on the wrong slide. Hold on, let me go back one. It's not letting me go back either. So this is my CTE Virtual Learning Lab. It is a place where students can go and they can refer themselves so that they can get extra help, right? Because we want our students to learn self-advocacy skills. So it's better if they go to this site themselves and then click on the link and fill out the Google form with their identifying information, and also let me know what kind of help that they need. So that is the first option on our website, but we also have the opportunity for teachers to refer a student for help. So I'm going to go into this site right here just a minute, but I also want to point out that when you get the copy of the slides, if you wanted to make a copy of your own lab, then you would just click this link here, and that is going to be your copy that you can have. And because the share settings are a bit different on a Google site, so I had to make a copy so that my original site doesn't get edited. Okay, so if we click this link here on this slide, it's going to take us to my Google site. So it first addresses students. Do you need help in your CTE class? Request help here to book an appointment with Ms. Nelson in the Virtual Learning Lab. They fill out this basic information, and I'm just going to show you as a sample. Oh, whoops, it has to be a valid email address. If any of you need to email me, here is my email address. They tell me what school they're from, and then I need to know the best way to contact them, and they give me their phone number. And then they click next. They tell me what class they need help with. I need help with culinary. They identify what action they need help with, taking a test, the content of the lesson, assignment, and so on. It may be just getting organized for distance learning. It may be overwhelming for them. That's fine. I'll walk them through those steps. Do you need a language translator or deaf and hard of hearing interpreter? Yes or no? And they click submit. So after they submit, then they get this link letting them know that we received the request. Now you get to pick out an appointment time. So they click the link, and this is the link to my work Google Calendar. I never use my work Google Calendar, I use Outlook. I do use my Google Calendar for my personal Gmail account. So I never knew this existed until a couple of weeks ago. I was really surprised. So the student would click on an appointment slot here, and then they would type in a message, I need help, or whatever they want. So then they save this, your appointment has been saved. And then I receive immediately a message in my inbox with all of their information for the appointment. And then what I do in, let's see, I don't know if I can show you that in my Drive, it'll go into a Google form. Okay, I've been making a lot of documents lately. Okay, well, anyway, it goes to a Google form, and then I get the information, and then I reach out to them to determine what else they would need. So I set up the appointment, and it's really important that I know their case manager. I don't think I asked them that on the form, so I need to update that. I need to know their case manager. I need to know that their parent has been notified, because our district wants to make sure, that we cover our bases, and that, meeting one-on-one with the student, especially with Zoom and Zoom bombing. Although I believe that you can prevent Zoom bombing from happening if you set up your settings the correct way. So it's best, I'm treating these appointments as if it's an IEP meeting, where I would invite everyone on the IEP team. And then let them know, number one, they're notified, but number two, they're invited. If they want to attend the meeting, they certainly can. You know, the more the merrier, but the point is just to make everybody aware that the student is, number one, needing help, and number two, I'm the person that's helping them. I am a special ed teacher, but I'm not their special ed teacher, not their case manager. So it's just really important to keep everybody in the loop, and then when I'm done meeting with the student, then I will follow up with the case manager and the teacher and the parent and let them know what I did and you know, what help I gave them, if there's any conflict that was resolved, and any recommendation that I have. That way the case manager can note that in their service log that the student did receive that help. Okay, any questions on the student referral form? No? Okay. So the other option is for a teacher to make a referral. A lot of our students, you know, they might need help, but they might not reach out. So then the teacher can choose to create the referral form. And basically it's about the same information as the student would fill out. But I need to know what type of student they're referring. I'm not just serving special ed students in my job. I also serve English language learners, foster youth, and homeless. So I've asked for the teachers not to share the website on their Google Classrooms because I'm only serving those special population of students. But if a student needs help, then the teacher can share the website and the student can self-refer. I get the students. Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have a question, and this is a good one. The schedule to book appointments, is that going to be included on the link as well?
Yes, it's on the next slide.
Perfect.
Okay, and then the very last one that's different on the teacher referral form is there any other information that you can share that will be helpful for me? I can think of a student I had a few years ago who was really shy and she hardly spoke up. Her voice was super soft, but she did not feel comfortable talking to male teachers. And that was a real problem for her. She finally got better at it her senior year. But, you know, something that might not be, you know, typical that would help me out in understanding how to help the student. So the teacher then clicks submit, and then I get the information in the form and reach out to the student. So then at the bottom of my site, just because, you know, we get busy and we forget about tools and resources out there. So at the bottom of my site, I just let everybody know that Google has accessibility tools. If you click here, this is a page on how to enable closed captioning and voice typing, teach from home. I'll share more about this in just a minute. It's on my next slide. But I just wanted it to be a reminder for teachers that there are resources out there for them. And then as well as downloading an extension called Read and Write for Google Chrome. So that is my CTE Virtual Learning Lab. I just want to point out that my district just started on Thursday. So we're just getting our feet wet, and I have not actually had a referral yet. I'm really excited to get one. But I don't know how well this is going to be taken advantage of. I'm hoping that it will be helpful, but you know, we're just making the offer. And you know, my fear is that by the time we get into the swing of distance learning and you know, it's becoming more common to utilize this tool, it'll be time to be done. So we're hoping that we can also use this in the fall when we come back to school. You know, education will really change in a lot of good ways, I think. So hopefully this will be able to continue this fall. All right, I'm gonna go back to the slide. So again, this is the link. When we're done, I'll share the link to this is a Google slide presentation. And if you want to make a copy of that, you know, it doesn't have to be career technical education. It can be for your own caseload, just a place where you can get all that information in one place. That link is right here for you. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is accessibility tools. So there's some different things that you can use, and I'm not sure, I'm sure some of these are familiar to you already, but I wanted to point them out. First of all, here is the link. Some of you asked about how to use that calendar scheduling tool. So you'd want to click here to arrange one-on-one appointments. These are the directions on how to use the Google Calendar appointment slots. It's really easy. That's the nice thing. Google just makes things so intuitive and easy. So these are the directions on how to make that work. And I guarantee if you just follow these directions, you'll be able to utilize that. Basically, it's just when you set the appointment in your Google Calendar, well, maybe I should just walk through and show you. Let me open up my Google Calendar. So these are my future virtual learning lab appointments that I've set up to be recurring. But let's say I wanted to make a new appointment here. Oh, I think I double click there. Okay, so you single click on an appointment, and then you have the option to call in an event, an out of office, or appointment slot. So you click appointment slot, you pick the time and everything else. You can even make it a Zoom meeting. That's kind of a nice feature. I didn't notice that. I think it's new. And then you click save. Okay, so then it turns blue. So then so now that it's open, what you do is up here at the top, I don't know, can you see this when I'm highlighting my web address?
Yep, we can see it highlighted.
Okay, good. So all you do is grab that, and anywhere within the blue highlight, you right click and copy, and that is what you put in your email or in your Google form or in your Google Calendar, however you want to do it. Anytime anyone clicks on that link, it brings them to the appointment slots available in your calendar. Pretty easy, huh? So, wait, where are we? So if you just click on this icon here, it'll bring you to those directions if you need to follow the directions through once again. I really love how Google has made it super easy for teachers. They rolled this out right away. And if you click on this link, it'll take you to a really cool website. And this icon here is just part of that website. I'll take you to it. It's called Teach from Home. So how do I teach remotely with video calls? How do I teach without video calls? And then right here, how do I make lessons accessible to all? This shows teachers how to enable closed captions in your Hangouts Meet, your Google Hangouts if you're meeting live with students. To use voice typing, that's really easy. Accessibility features on a Chromebook. I'd encourage you to spend time going through those tutorial videos. They're really helpful. I didn't know everything that was there. And then the G Suite accessibility features. I had a teacher who made a bunch of voice comments with an app called Talk and Comment, which is really cool, in addition to his assignments that he was posting, until he had a student who was from Turkey, and she just wasn't fluent enough to understand the Talk and Comment. So I had to walk him through. I'm like, okay, well, maybe what you need to do is open up a Google Doc, use your voice typing to say your directions. That way you don't have to type it all out. And then show your student how to use the translate feature within Google Docs. And it's really super easy. I will show you that because I didn't realize it was so easy. So let me open up the document. So here are my directions that I share with teachers on my virtual learning lab. So if you go to Center Tools, Translate Document, and I went down and I looked for Turkish, and here we are, everything is in Turkish.
That is such a cool feature.
Did you even know it was there?
No, I did not. I think this is so cool. I mean, I would use this with any class, even not virtual learning. This is fantastic.
I have no idea if it's correct Turkish, but I'm assuming it's better than nothing. Better than I could do. Another thing when you're working on a Google Doc, let's go back to the English version of that. I have installed the extension Read and Write for Google Chrome. That's also on the slide. And you guys can't see this because you can't see extensions when you present. But if I just click on the extension, which is to the right of my address bar, the purple puzzle icon, my extensions pop up. I'm assuming you can't see across the top all these tools.
Yeah, we can see them.
Oh, yay, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Read and Write, you said?
Read and Write for Google Chrome. And it's a bit tricky on a district issued Chromebook because, you know, they have so many firewalls. They don't want students downloading a whole bunch of junk. But Read and Write for Google Chrome is one that my district in Elk Grove allows students to download. But you have to go through it a different way. So it took me like an hour to figure out how to do that. I have the directions on how to download that on the next slide. But this is how to use it. So you would just, once you download the extension, you would click here on the puzzle icon. I don't know if you can see it, but it opens up these accessibility tools. There's so many cool things you can do here. But the best one, I think, for our students is to read the document out. Were you able to hear the document talking?
No, if you go to your toolbar and share, you would have to share your computer sound with everyone.
Let's see, would you like me to do that?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So I'm going to go to more.
You should have a little tool. Yeah, you should have a little toolbar. Yeah, click more, the little dots, and then you should see share computer sound.
Okay, so I'm going to do it one more time. It is a bit slow today. Where are we at here?
I hear some noise, but it basically reads it, right, for the student. It's a text to voice.
Yep, text to voice. And it reads everything. And you can even, I can't show you right now because it's, I don't know, there's some kind of delay. You can even go into the settings and pick which accent you want it read in. There are so many accents. There's like 5 different English accents that you can pick. There's tons of accents. So, you know, that makes a difference for a student who has auditory learning challenges or an English language learner, that if it's in this strange accent, it's really hard to decipher. So they can choose that. But the students need to be shown how to access the extension and then how to use the tools. So yeah, I don't know why this is not working. I guess I'll close that out.
It's probably the bandwidth. I've noticed I've been having some bandwidth issues with Zoom and everything else today too.
Okay. Well, I closed it and opened up the same document again. I click on the puzzle icon. You know, and I have high-speed internet too. I pay a lot of money to get faster speed, so I was surprised that this is happening. Okay, so now I click play.
Vicki Nelson. Link https://sites.google.com/view/ctervll/home.
Hey, these are all, I mean, let's be honest here with everyone at home. I mean, we're all going to have little tech glitches now and then, so I think everyone here understands. Very cool though. I was thinking I know this year most students won't be taking the Smarter Balanced Assessment, but I could see that being a very useful tool in terms of the accessibility tools throughout the school year, especially for students who are taking the Smarter Balanced Assessment, maybe using some of those same types of accessibility tools. So you're all good to share again. The sound has been fixed.
Okay, except I can't get it to stop talking.
We can't hear it.
Okay.
Well, while you're getting that set up, let's ask the audience. How many of you have kind of figured out a schedule, or you guys have a plan with your district? So, like, let's hear from some of the folks out there. Like, what are you guys struggling with? What do you guys need help with? What are you guys working on that might be working? Let's just hear from you guys right now. So if you can type that in the audience, that would be great. So things you're working on, things you might be struggling with, scheduling that you like with your district. And I'm going to give everyone a moment just to, okay. So Claire says, I am struggling with getting the students to come to the meeting. I've heard that from other teachers. Jennifer says, getting students to engage. All my students have devices but don't do the work. Is that about like 25% of your students, Jennifer? Lynn asks, how are others finding time to collaborate with gen ed teachers to support SPED kids? So it sounds like, okay, collaborating by email mostly. So it sounds like some of you are having a hard time getting student engagement. It sounds like teaching a wide range. Jet says many students with RSP support feel overwhelmed by the volume and complexity of the tasks. Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I hope, Jet, that your district is, with the grading policy, has like kind of a hold harmless policy for students, and that teachers maybe are, well, maybe you could help remind them that, you know, we're in a crisis mode, and so for some students this might be very stressful. Some of my students are out of state. Yeah, so let's hear from everyone, because Vicki's having a little bit of technical difficulty. So how are others finding time to collaborate with gen ed teachers to support SPED kids? I'm going to actually put that in the chat here. And if you actually would like to answer this question, if you'd like to share how you're collaborating, I can unmute you. You just need to be able to raise your hand. So you should be able to raise your hand, or let me know if you'd like to share and I can unmute you and allow you to talk. So how are some of you finding time to collaborate with gen ed teachers to support special ed students? I'm also having issues. Oh.
Okay, I'm back.
Yay, and I was having issues too. So we were just asking, oops, don't want that to happen. So I was just asking people, how are others finding time to collaborate with gen ed teachers to support kids? So Mary says her special ed students are invited into the Google Meet time for their mainstream time. Okay.
Cool.
Darlene says she attends grade level PLCs, been communicating with them through email, text, and phone calls. Anyone else want to share? Sorry about the guitar, my 4-year-old's playing right now. And the CDE is actually going to be putting something out in a few weeks with examples that we're looking for around the state of instances where teachers and gen ed teachers, special ed teachers and gen ed teachers have been able to collaborate. So Darlene attends grade level PLCs, communicating through email, text, and phone calls. And this is the primary way, Vicki, right? So you can share your screen again if you want.
Yes.
This is the primary way that you're communicating with your students, right? Are you communicating any other ways, or do you have any other suggestions for the teachers who are on here? Some of them, while you were gone, said that they're having a hard time, and I know you just started back at the end of the week, but they're having a hard time getting students to engage and doing the work.
Well, let's see. First of all, can you see my screen?
Yeah, we sure can.
Okay, good. We're only on day 3 of distance learning for high school and day 1 for elementary. So I'm not sure, but I'm in the contact with one CTE teacher who's really trying to get case managers to work with him, and they're not really responding. And I told him, I'm like, you know, I think that case managers are overwhelmed with case management because you're not only having to teach classes, but you're helping students, and you're also trying to get caught up on IEPs that were late. And it's general ed teachers just don't understand how taxing that is. So I feel for all the special ed teachers right now. But if you are reaching out, then if I were you, I would want to get added to the Google Classrooms. The teacher doesn't have to do that. That's really the easiest way for you to see the content of what's going on. And that's something that I tell the CTE teachers that, hey, I would love to help you, but you know, what do I know about automotive or building and trades construction? So I really need to see the content of your classroom so that I can better help them. So, but I leave it up to them. But also, there are some other tools here that you might not know about that I would like to share with you.
Absolutely.
Okay. First of all, we went over these two. And then if you haven't yet used Google Voice, this is a really cool tool. You can share a phone number through Google Voice that's linked to your phone number, and that way you can give that so students can send you a text message. The app Remind also does that, and it does not give your phone number. You can send text messages to students. You can also send photos. So I think that's really cool. I've never used that, but I have teachers that use that all the time. And I think they can also text you, and then it won't go to the entire group, it'll just go to you. Another thing that you can do, sorry, my presentation bar comes up over this one, but
I do have a question. Vicki, is Google Voice only for Google Classroom users, the Google Suite, like the G Suite?
no, Google Voice is for anybody who has a Google account who doesn't want to give up the phone number.
Oh, cool. Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. I just found out about this app called Talking Points today from my high school counselor where my kids go to school and where I used to teach. Talking Points is a free app, and you can download it on your phone, and you can enter in the names of your students, your first name or whatever, and their phone number, which might seem kind of tedious at first, but let's say you had a student like my teacher friend who had a student new here from Turkey. You can send a message to that student or the student's family, and you type it in English, or you voice type it in English, and it will get automatically translated into the language that you have selected for that student. So that's just a really cool thing. It's free, and I think it would really be helpful for those students who are really struggling with, or maybe they're okay, but their parents aren't fluent enough. It's meant to increase family engagement. So
that's awesome. What tool is that again?
Talking Points, so it's right here.
Talking Points.
Yeah, if you click on that, all of those pictures, all those icons are links. So this is how you reach all your students' families right here. Sign up for free. So here's an example. Hello, have a great school year, and this is what they receive. So I have no experience with that other than it's a cool tool that translates. Here is that read and write for Google Chrome. If you click here, this is a document that I made on how to get that downloaded. You would have to follow those steps there in order to download on a student Chromebook. Here's a tutorial. Oh, I forgot to point out that if you are grading papers, this is a really cool feature on voice comments. You can watch a tutorial here. Basically, it's to make your comment and speak them. Here is one. Let's see. I'm not going to click on that because I want to have to restart my computer again. So, but it's there.
Thank you. I think hopefully everyone after this, maybe tonight or tomorrow, checks it out. That's very cool. I'm learning a lot here. I'm going to try that myself.
Here's working with paraeducators. And then here is something I wanted to show you because my friend who is a culinary teacher at Florence High School, he gave me permission to share this. It is basically a hyperdoc. You can go to hyperdocs.co and see lots of great examples with PD, brand new website for hyperdocs that just rolled out like in this past weekend. But my friend Scott has created a choice board, and I'm going to see if I can enlarge it for you. So I would encourage you, let's say you get added onto Google Classroom. You can assign work to your two students in that Google Classroom that belongs to your general ed teacher, and you can modify an assignment. Only those two students get that modified assignment, and then you can grade it and communicate back and forth with the teacher. But this teacher does a really good job of making choice boards. Every week is going to make a choice board. Students have to pick 3 activities from this choice board. I don't know if you can see the activities there, but a lot of cool choices because, students, they have their strengths and they get to choose which activities they want to demonstrate their learning. So if you have the opportunity to do that, you can look at the teacher's Google Classroom and you can come up with some choices that the student can have to decide how they're going to respond to their learning, and that can be an accommodation for them. So I wanted to include that in this slideshow because I think it's really helpful that our students have choices to demonstrate their learning. This teacher is a rock star and he gives choices to everybody. So anyway, that's just another tool that you might want to utilize. The last thing that I have for you is working with paraeducators. My district has given some guidelines on how to utilize paraeducators because they get this question a lot, trying to make this bigger, but it's just really slow right now. And this was from Melissa Stoneman. She's our Mod Severe Special Ed Coordinator. And I think the problem is I'm having a dual monitor, and my dual monitor is not the latest and greatest. So here are some options that my district encourages us to use. They can be added to the Google Classroom if the teacher feels comfortable, but it's not required to do that. They can take frontline classes or other professional development. Frontline is free. They can correct work and give feedback through the Google Doc platform. You can take notes and data collection if live Zoom lessons are taking place. Take notes on pre-recorded lessons. I don't know what clerical tasks there would be, but it's up there. And then with video recorded stories, circle time songs, activities. This is fine to do as long as they're not live videos. My district does not want paraeducators doing live videos. And that if the paraeducator is going to do that, then the communication with the families needs to be there. And it should go directly through the case manager.
Thank you, that's helpful. And we, if people are interested in other ideas, we recorded a webinar from last Friday that had some additional ideas. So I think it's good to see what everyone's doing with paraeducators to make sure students get the support. So thank you for that list.
You bet.
And we have a question. Does Talking Points work through Google Voice?
Good question. I don't know. I just looked at that a few hours ago and I found out about it.
Well, if someone out there wants to check it out and let me know, that would be great. And then we can share that information out with everyone who attended tonight. So anything else you want to share about just how you're supporting? How many students do you support in the CTE program? I'm just curious.
I think we have 9 comprehensive high schools in my district. So, I mean, thousands. We have thousands of CTE students, but I don't know how many. You know, an average percentage is about 10%. So it's hard to say. I don't really know. I don't have those numbers for you, but we have 9 comprehensive high schools, and at each one, there's probably about 2,000 average students.
But you only support the students with IEPs and then our students in other subgroups, right?
Yep, so it's special ed students, foster youth, homeless, and English language learners.
Wow, that's a lot of kids to support right now.
And they need it too.
Absolutely, absolutely. So does anyone else have a question for Vicki? I love that you can actually copy your site. Thank you, because I think that makes it so much easier for people just to already, thanks for doing that work for everybody.
Oh, you're welcome. Let me share that link before I forget. Oh, I need to share that, get out of present mode. Hold on a second.
So any other questions? Where can I find the recording? Oh, so yeah, if you guys go to www.cta.org/IPD-trainings, and our new website's going to be up in a few weeks, so I would go there in the next week, or I would go there before May 1st for sure. But if you go there, right above the calendar is the link for the recordings, and it was the high school special ed panel. And it was adult transition program, it was moderate severe, and it was resource. It was from Westminster High, the 3 teachers, so you could also hear about what they're doing with their parents. So, and it was about an hour long as well. I think it's good for all of us to talk about what's going on around the state right now. So
I get to the chat so that I can share that with you. Oh, here we are. Okay.
Perfect. So we can just cut and paste this, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then if you guys aren't able to cut and paste it, do you mind if I share the screen real quickly?
Sure, go ahead.
So if you guys go to our trainings page and you go to IPD webinar handouts, we will have a folder that has all of this in here as well. It just takes me a few days to get it set up, but thank you so much for being on this evening.